Never a consultant or advisor to General Zia-ul-Haq, the president who made the law of blasphemy in 80s. I had never been a member of his cabinet. I was never a member of the parliament in his days. He invited me, offered me to be federal minister for 3 times. I refused, and I never joined his dictatorial rule. And the way he was formulating the Sharia law, I was totally against it.
So you are against the blasphemy law?
Number 2, finally, when this law was made, President Zia-ul-Haq never consulted me. And I was never a part of shaping this law in the parliament made by General Zia-ul-Haq.
So
this is absolutely clear. So they have wrong information that I was his advisor.
So let us get it on the table.
Yeah.
Are you pro or against the much discussed blasphemy laws in Pakistan?
Now, there are 2 aspects. First of all, after clarifying the situation that I was never a part of shaping in the parliament. Now there are 2 aspects of this law. And every law, one is substantial law and other is procedural law. As far as the substantial law is concerned, whereby just the punishment is mentioned for a particular crime or a particular act, I won't comment in it because this is not the just Sharia law. I would like to correct, this is originally a biblical law.
I have clearly mentioned this, that if you ask what was my role in formulating this blasphemy law, I have never been the president of Pakistan, I have never been the prime minister there, and the regime of Zia-ul-Haq, when he formulated this law, I was never member of his cabinet, never a minister, and I was not member of his parliament. And he never consulted me. What happened? I want to explain the whole thing to remove the misunderstanding and the whole problem here. Case was registered in the federal Sharia court, that was a federal court, by somebody, some individual, it may be, I think he was some senior lawyer of Supreme Court of Pakistan. He registered a case regarding this law of blasphemy. That court summoned me. I was jurisconsult of that court. And I have been jurisconsult, means advisor, to Supreme Court of Pakistan or certain legal and constitutional and juristic matters. As jurisconsult or advisor to the Supreme Court or advisor to the Federal Sharia Court, court summoned me and asked me to give my arguments. So, whole case was being taken as a whole. What would be the procedural law regarding this blasphemy, and what would be the main quantum of punishment, what we say the procedural law, and other one it's substantive law. It was being taken as a whole, but this is the substantive law, crime, definition and punishment. And how should be it exercised? What would be the method of administration of the whole thing and procedure and structure of the law? I gave my arguments for 3 days. 18 hours I gave my arguments. Those arguments were never made public. When I finished my arguments, some other scholars also appeared. So we have difference of opinions on this matter. But when I finished my arguments, after that, the new date was fixed for next hearing. Before the new date arrived of the Federal Sharia Court, I am giving you the actual history of the law, and if you just inquire, you won't find a bit of difference in the real facts. So before the new date of hearing arrived, General Zia-ul-Haq, the then President of Pakistan, stopped the court. He was a dictator. He stopped the court from further hearing the case and further getting arguments. So the court was stopped there and then, and he summoned the case from the court to his own cabinet and parliament. So I was disconnected at that point. Case was not decided. Court was never allowed to pass any judgment. If the court was allowed to pass the judgment, the situation would have been different as well as the structure and administrative and procedural law of the case of the law is concerned. But General Zia-ul-Haq stopped the court and banned the proceedings, and he took the case in his own hands as the president, martial law administrator, and after a couple of months, he issued the law, declared the law as an act of parliament. He made the law an act of parliament, and this law was passed by the then parliament nominated by General Zia-ul-Haq, where I was never a member. Then I was never consulted on this particular law, never, ever, up till today. So this was the whole story. Mike, I was giving a big contribution that what should be this aspect of law should be, what should be its procedure, implementation, its administration, and its procedural matter. But since court was not allowed to take the whole case as a whole, and General Zia-ul-Haq passed this act and made the law of the country, and up till today, I had reservations about this law, its procedural aspect, its administrative aspect. The way this law is being used is unfair. I have disagreement, categorical disagreement. The way it is being used, the way this law is being exploited, and sometimes this law is being used against minorities or against the weaker classes of the country. So I disagree with it, but this was passed by the parliament and I was never consulted in that.